Hello all, welcome to our YouTube channel, My Project Ideas. In this video, we'll be discussing a Python application to get the latest news headlines. As far as requirements of building this application is concerned, it requires Python programming language installed on your system with all the necessary libraries that is needed to build this particular application, and a Visual Studio Code or any other code editor in which Python can be installed. So with that being said, let's get started and have a look on the code. So guys, this is an entire Python program, Python application, which helps us to fetch the latest news headlines from the API which we'll provide in the form of input. So initially what we have done is, let's start from having the UI part of this particular program. So this particular code applet, we have created a UI. We have used Tkinter library of Python to generate a sort of widget or a canvas of geometry of measurements 900 cross 600, and we have set the title of our canvas as news app, and we have created a button named as reload button that will reload the data with the latest news headlines, right? So this particular code applet is nothing but through this particular code applet we have just created a UI part. So as far as fetching the data from that particular URL is concerned, what we have done is we have imported the request library of Python, and by giving the API key and the URL through this API key, we will fetch the data of this API key in the form of JSON files, JSON data, that is JavaScript object notation files. What we'll do is through this Python program, what will this application will do? This application will basically helps us to fetch the data from the API that we'll be providing, and an API key and URL. So what we will do is we'll implement this Python program to implement or to fetch the data from this particular URL which we have provided in the URL variable, right? And this particular program will fetch all the news headlines from this particular API, and will store all the data in the JSON format, that is JavaScript object notation, and by fetching all the latest headlines, we'll store our data into a particular canvas by using this particular code applet. So what we have done is, through this API link, we have an article class. You can use Postman to see the API data, and through this particular article class, we have appended all the news latest headlines in the variable as my news. And finally, we have merged the entire latest headline, and we have configured into a text, and we have fetched the data from my news variable. So I guess the code is clear enough. What we have done is, let's repeat it once again. We have created this particular UI. This particular UI is created through Tkinter library. Tkinter is the most used library to create Python user interfaces. And so this particular code applet, what we have done is we have fetched the data from this particular API key. So once the data is fetched, it is totally stored in the canvas and is displayed to us accordingly. Let's hit the run button and see what happens. So as I hit the run button, it's compiling. So this is an entire data which we have got through our Python program. We will reload it. And so the latest news headlines from CNN is tsunami warnings issued after 6.9 magnitude earthquake hits Taiwan. So accordingly, this latest news headlines is fetched from that particular API link. So let's map our particular output with our program. So this is an output. Let's close our terminal. This is our output. So what we'll do is we'll map an entire line by line program, which will be more understandable enough. So guys, this particular UI, news app, and this particular user interface is particularly created from this particular code part. That is this one, this particular code. Through this particular code applet, we have created a UI. So this particular news app, as you can see, the title of this is news app. So it is news app. So this particular user interface is created by Tkinter library and through these code lines, and the data is fetched from this particular API key, which is showing in this particular canvas. So these are basically latest news headlines which we have fetched from an API key. So guys, this was an entire Python program to fetch the data from an API link to get the latest news headlines. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. I hope the things are precise and clear enough. To get more interesting stuffs in more technical domains, please do subscribe to our channel Math Project Ideas in order to get some more cool and interesting projects in different technologies. Thank you so much, guys. See you in the next video. Till then, keep growing and keep exploring. Thank you.